Today I will talk about water, which I think it is very common topic for everybody. Everybody is using it day and night. We are washing, cooking, and cleaning our houses, washing our cars, drinking water a lot. So water is essential part of our daily life. All right. So now there are certain essential things that you must know about water. You are using it so, I would say, frequently. So you must know what is the basic formula, what is the basic properties of water that makes it so important in life, right? So the first one I would like to tell you that without water, no life can survive. Whether it is human being, plants or animals, none can survive without water. Okay? And the second thing is that inside our body, all the mechanisms, the chemical reactions, the enzymatic catalysis that is happening is all because of the medium, the aqueous medium, and that aqueous medium is nothing but water. You all know that our body, 80% of our body is made up of water. Alright, so without water, I don't think that anybody can survive. Even plants needs water to transfer your nutrients from the root to the leaf. So what are the basic properties of water that makes it so important? Can you name any? Yes, anyone? Any property of water, do you think that it is important in making it such a unique liquid?
Water is a universal solvent.
Water is a universal solvent. This is a very good property. Without this property of dissolving all the materials, I think no chemical reaction or no cleaning purposes can be solved with water. Your clothes are clean because your dirt gets solubilized in water. Okay? You are drinking so much of water with minerals that the mineral quantity is giving only because you are having certain solubility of these minerals in water. You are getting oxygen from the water that you are drinking because oxygen is soluble in water. Okay, so the solubility of water is a very important property, and many of the compounds become soluble in water, and that is why water is termed as universal solvent. Okay, so none other liquid has this property. They are very limited solvent. They serve as solvent to very limited number of compounds in comparison to water. Any other property of water that you think is very important for making it such a unique liquid? Okay, I'll shift over the slide and you can see that. The first one, as he says, was the universal solvent. Okay. The second one is that the solid form of water is lighter than its liquid form. And this is the only liquid, water is the only liquid to have this kind of property, where the solid form is lighter than the liquid form. Okay. Why the nature has designed water with this property? It is because you know that the survival of marine life completely depend on this property of water. Think about the colder areas, the polar regions, where the whole land is covered with ice caps. Still the marine life is surviving there. Why? Because under these ice caps you can find water. That means ice actually is floating on water. Generally in other liquids, if you start freezing them, they will freeze from bottom to top. Water is the only liquid, when you cool it, it will freeze from top to bottom. So even if you have colder regions, the ice will be freezing only on the top and the water will be there at the base for the marine life to survive. Alright, so this is a very important property of life we just can generally ignore when we are putting ice in your Coca-Cola and it floats. You never think of this importance of such phenomena in actually survival of this life. Another property of water which is important is it is transparent to light. Do you know why is it that important? Do you know there are plants underneath water? And plants uses photosynthesis to survive, and photosynthesis needs light. So even if your water is not transparent to life, though no photosynthesis would have been possible underneath the seawater. The whole marine plants, or I would say coral, would die. All the plantation inside the water would die without water being transparent to light. So photosynthesis would not have been possible. The last point is the neutral nature of water. Water is neutral, that means its pH is approximately 7. Alright, so that is important because you know that your body mechanisms, all the chemical reaction that is happening inside your body is happening at the neutral medium. Below or higher pH will ultimately spoil or denature all your enzymes. If you take enzymes out of your body, they'll get denatured if they are not getting that neutral medium. Okay, so that neutral medium is very important for all the mechanisms in your body that has to go on, and that is possible only in water because water has a neutral pH. So these are the important properties of water that makes it a unique liquid in comparison to all other liquids. Alright? So you know that water is used by us in many purposes, in numerous purposes. From morning to evening, I think 90% of your jobs are done including water, by using water. Okay, that's why nature has given us enormous quantity of water. If you look at your earth, 70% of the earth's surface is covered by water, and it is mainly the oceans. But still, every day, you must have been listening in the TV or some other advertisements that save water. Water needs to be conserved. We are having limited resources of water, but there are plenty on the earth, more than the land. Why are we thinking of this water conservation? If there is so much of water, we can utilize it for many years to come. The problem here is, first of all, where all we need water. The water consumption is very high. Look at the growing industries. All the boilers, all the chillers, everywhere you need water. The reaction medium itself, the cleaning thing. Everywhere in industry you need tons and tons of water every year. Look at the consumption of human beings. They cannot cook, they cannot eat, they cannot survive without drinking water, they cannot wash their clothes, they cannot take bath, they cannot even, worship without water. Okay, so growing population means growing demand of water. Another one is when you need food to eat. That food is grown as a crop, and for growing that crop, you need water. With a growing population, your agricultural demand will grow, and your demands for water will grow. Okay, so the demand is enormous, and it is growing every day with increasing population. Now, what can we do with that 70% of water? We say water, water everywhere on the earth. There's so many oceans, but still nothing to drink. Why we do that? Why we say that? Now look at the graphics here. It says that 97% of the total water on the Earth's surface is ocean. Okay, 2% is the fresh water which is not utilized. This is the fresh water which is trapped as ice caps, icebergs. Okay, this is freeze water which cannot be used for drinking, although it is a fresh water, but we cannot use it. The other one is groundwater. Still, you cannot use it as easily as the fresh water sources. So it's only 1% which is left, which is used for you to drinking purposes. Okay, so for human consumption, out of the whole 100% total of water, you have just 1% of that for human consumption, and that is why we are always trying to conserve water. Okay, so that 1% of water is in the form of lakes, or rivers, or swamps. These are the sources of fresh water, from where we are using it for drinking purposes. Nowadays, if I'll tell you, there are examples of the countries where there are hardly any rivers. There might be some one lake or no. You must have seen in the olden areas, all the humanity, all the civilizations used to be in the river banks. Nobody used to actually survive without water or without any water body around. So think of those countries which doesn't have enough water or enough water bodies like rivers or lakes in them, how they are going to manage their water crisis. They depend completely on oceans. I'll give you one example of Israel. I think day before too, I was searching on the internet and I found that one of the largest desalination plant is installed in Israel. And why is that so? Because they don't have a freshwater supply through lakes or rivers, they have just one lake. Okay? So that way, desalination of seawater is required, because you know that seawater is saline. It has too much of salt in it, which cannot be directly used for drinking. So for that, we need to remove the salt water from the sea to make it drinkable, to make it potable. What is potable water? Do you all know? Potable and non-potable water. What is the difference between potable and non-potable water? Anybody? Yes, Sajid. Potable is
drinking water.
Yes, any water which is fit for drinking, which can be consumed by human being or animals or plants, is called termed as potable. Okay, so anything which is not drinkable or which can be used in other purposes like watering your plants, or you can use it for cleaning purposes, that is termed as non-potable water. So for potable water, you need to take that salt out from the sea. And that is what the Israelis are doing. They are taking the sea water and desalinating it to get the fresh water. But the desalinating is actually, getting them more. They have to bear more cost for that. This is not a simple process. You have to utilize large amount of energy to desalinate the ocean water. Okay, so when we talk about water, drinking water, you must know that drinking water also comes under two categories from natural sources like rivers and lakes, as I said. The water that you get from those are of two types. It can be hard water or soft water. Alright? So how many of you knows about hard water? What is hard water?
Which there's an amount of salt, isn't it?
The amount of salt is more, exactly. Which kind of salt? Sodium salt? No.
Carbonate.
Carbonates, you're close. Which?
Magnesium.
Magnesium.
Calcium.
And calcium, yes. So it is the calcium salts and magnesium salts which make water hard. Okay? So it is mainly in the form of either their sulfates or their chlorides or carbonates. Or bicarbonates, I would say. Carbonates are insoluble. Carbonates of calcium and magnesium are insoluble. So anything which is not soluble in water will not render it hard. So greater the concentration of calcium and magnesium ions, greater will be the hardness of water. The limit, if we say that the limit is between 60 to 120, when the water calcium and magnesium concentration is between 60 to 120 ppm, we call it soft water. And beyond 120, we call it hard water. Or beyond 180, I would call it very hard water. So depending on the number of calcium or magnesium ions present in water, the hardness of water increases. Now, what is the worry about hard and soft water? Why are we worried? Let me tell you, for drinking purposes, hard and soft water both are okay. They don't have. There will be no problem if you are drinking hard water. The only thing is you will get a little bit a different taste of water when you are drinking hard water or soft water. The problem comes when you are using it for your laundry, you are using it for washing your utensils, or maybe for industrial uses where they are causing more problems. The problem with using hard water, you know that hard water, when you mix soap with it, it forms a white precipitate, a scum kind of thing, right? And your soap doesn't form any lather. When you are washing your hands in hard water with a soap, a lot of soap is wasted in, first of all, precipitating that scum, and then only lather will start forming. In soft water, as soon as you put soap, you will get a lot of lather in it. So when you are washing your clothes, the soap will be wasted. And when you are washing your utensils or you are washing your floors or cleaning your cars, what happens? Because there is large amount of calcium and magnesium ions, when you are washing it with hard water, these salts will get deposited on the surface of the thing you are cleaning. So where you will see some white spots. So when you are cleaning your utensils, you will find some white spots if you are doing it with hard water. So these white spot is nothing but the scum that is formed by hard water, and its composition is calcium carbonate. That calcium carbonate gets deposited. So this thing is not very a nuisance when you are doing it at your home, because you can still go on with it. Okay, that's white spot, you can scrap away with your simple cloth. But think about industries which are doing some using water in a boiler or creating steam, using in a chiller, water pipes. This hard water actually forms a scum, and when this scum gets deposited onto these boilers or some water chillers, it corrodes, or I would say it gets deposited. This calcium carbonate gets deposited on the element of that boiler, or it gets deposited on the inner lining of these chillers. So when these deposition is there on the element, that element will consume more energy. That means you will be consuming extra energy because of this problem of deposition of calcium carbonate. So hard water creates a lot of problem in industry. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to convert this hard water to soft water before using it in industrial purposes or any other cleaning purposes. All your washing machines will also get degraded after a certain period of time when you are using hard water. Your clothes will not be as clean as if you are using soft water. So conversion of hard water to soft water is required, especially in industries. How can we do that? How can we decrease the concentration of these calcium and magnesium ions to make it soft? One easy way of doing this is precipitating the calcium ions by putting some slaked lime. What is slaked lime? Calcium hydroxide. That is slaked lime. So when you put calcium hydroxide into hard water, the calcium carbonate will precipitate out and your water will be soft when you filter it out. Okay, calcium carbonate get deposited and when you filter it out, the filtered water is soft. Now hardness is again can be of two types, temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Both of them are due to calcium ions, but anions here differ. If you have calcium sulfate or calcium chloride, this will give you hard water which is permanently hard. And if you have bicarbonates, calcium bicarbonate or magnesium bicarbonate, you will get a temporarily hard water. Now this temporary hardness can be simply removed by boiling the water. What happens when you boil the water?